Hello everyone, my name is SirSwarm and welcome back to another bee swarm simulator video. Festive gifts. Great way to start off the video. Anyways, in today's video we are going to be going over the bees again. Don't worry, we're almost done, we're to the mythics. Now, my previous videos were more geared towards newer players, as I was talking about like the common bee, the rare bees, the epic bees, the legendary bees, right? Now I'm going into the mythic bees. Now, these bees did come out a year ago. However, they have some pretty complicated abilities, which they might be a little bit more harder to understand. So this might be more for like new people the new people aren't going to be getting these unless they're really lucky. Still possible, but also more towards maybe like closer to mid-game players, to where they're actually starting to try and get these mythic bees. I would consider myself to be like kind of in the mid-game right now, kind of towards the end of mid-game. This is not my actual gear. I just stuck on some random like red stuff, for the video. But I'm starting to try and get these mythic bees. You can see I actually got a buoyant bee. I got that pretty recently, actually. I'm pretty stoked about that. But anyway, let's just hop right into it. Today's video, we're going to be going over 3 bees. Next video, we'll go over another 3 bees. And then we'll work on to the event bees. The event bees are not as complicated, except for this one digital bee, which just came out. So I can explain how all of that stuff works. So just hopping right in, the buoyant bee. Just like a balloon, nothing can keep this bee down. It's always ready to party. I just got one of these, and he looks really nice, and I'm actually glad I kind of got a blue bee instead of like a red bee, because I like blue more than I like red. I think my hive is a bit more geared towards blue, even though I'm still a mixed hive. I'm not choosing a color yet. I don't actually even have a gold star amulet, as you can see right there, still silver. But yeah, the buoyant bee, it's a mythic type bee, blue, has 60 energy, 14 speed, and 4 attack. So it's not a bad bee. Collects 15 pollen in 5 seconds, which is a little bit quicker actually, because it collects more pollen, but in a slower time. And it makes 150 honey in 3 seconds, which is better than base. It's got all of these complicated abilities, which I will now have to go through. Blue Bomb, we already know how that, we've gone over that multiple times. But the next ability is called Inflate Balloons. Now, each of our mythic bees have a unique ability that only they have, like no one else has. So Inflate Balloons is that one ability. As well as their unique ability, they also all have a gifted ability. As well as, I think they all have a passive. Let me just check. Yeah, I think they all have passives too. So they have a lot of stuff that's going for them. So let me just see if I can get this ability before I explain what it does. Its main thing that you're going to be using Inflate Balloons for is to get your own balloon. So let me just get this balloon real quick. Oh, there we go. I just got that ability. Now you can see it spawns a balloon that hovers above the field, and you can see darkened flowers like in a radius around the balloon, right? If I collect in that radius, instead of putting the pollen in my backpack, it'll stick it in the balloon. Now, once this thing fills up, it will go back to my hive, or it'll go back to my hive after a certain period of time in a hive balloon. So I'll just show you what a hive balloon looks like. Oh, there you can see this person right here, XXX Stucky XXX2. They have a hive balloon right here, and it's, you can see it's holding 13,215,204 pollen, ready to be converted. And it kind of just puts it there for you. You can also see that it has blessing, which says times 11. I have a blessing times 4 because my balloon, as you can just see, it floated back to the hive, and I have 33,000. So if I convert this, if I just hit convert, after my bees finish collecting my backpack, they'll convert the balloon. And if they convert the balloon, whatever the blessing is will be put on as a boost for an hour. So you can see up on the top left, I have balloon blessing times 4, which gives me 1.12 times capacity and 1.06 honey at hive. So I have a slightly bigger capacity, and I convert, or I make slightly more honey when I'm converting that hive. So let me just read off this ability, and I'm trying to explain what the words mean instead of just reading it off. Increases the pollen in balloons on your field by 5%. You get plus 0.01% per level. So for every level, you add 0.01%, so to increase the pollen in the balloons by a little bit more with each level. Then spawns a blue balloon for 20 seconds, but you add 2 seconds for every level that your bee is, with capacity that scales with your capacity and the bee's level. So the capacity of the balloon, you saw that it was like 1 million, like 1.16 million in that balloon, or that was maximum capacity. If it hits that, it will just go back to my hive. Well, that number, the maximum capacity, will go up depending on what the capacity in my backpack is, which currently is 4,717,112. But it'll also scale with the bee's level. So if I increase the level of the bee, it would go up even if my backpack stayed the same. It also says that it'll increase the pollen in all the other balloons. So say you have multiple buoyant bees. One of them spawns a balloon, and then the other one also uses inflate balloons. So if you use inflate balloons, but there's no other balloons, then it will just spawn that blue balloon. If there is any other balloon, it'll increase the pollen in all of the other balloons. So this bee really scales if you have a lot of them. If you can get a lot of balloons, then one inflate balloons ability could increase the amount of pollen that you're gathering by more than what your entire capacity is in one ability. Which is why Blue Hive is insane. But I'm going to say that for literally every hive, so take that with a grain of salt. And then these bullet points down here on the bottom just kind of explain what they do. Pollen collected from flowers near the balloon is added to the balloon instead of filling up your container. That's what the little aura, like the darkened flowers, were. If you collect from those flowers, they'll just go into the balloon instead of your backpack. Upon filling up or timing out, the balloon will float back to your hive, as you saw. And converting from a balloon at hive grants bonus capacity and honey at hive for 1 hour. As you saw, that's the balloon blessing. Standing near a balloon grants a bonus to pollen and honey from tokens, which stacks up to 10 times. Balloon capacity and inflation scales with number of field boosts. So, essentially, the balloon will have more capacity, actually, if you have a boost on that field. But where are we in? The blue flower. If I went into that blue HQ, and I hit that booster thing on the top shelf, or on the top shelf, top floor, I got like a 3 times boost. What I'm reading, or I think this says, is that it'll have 3 times the capacity. If gifted, this has a 5% chance, with an extra little percentage per level, and it's doubled when the field is boosted. But it has a 5% chance to summon a gold balloon instead, which has double the capacity and an additional 1.25 times the pollen. So that's all just that one inflate balloon's ability. So I actually have balloons in here. If I scroll down, I have my pink balloon, red balloon, white balloon, and black balloon. You see that there's red and white, but there's no blue balloon. That's because the buoyant bee spawns your blue balloon. That in blue balloons work better with blue flowers, whereas these red ones, they will work better with red flowers. Pink balloons will double whatever you put in them, and black balloons will quadruple the amount that you put in them, and it stores up to 25 times your capacity. So it stores a lot, but also quadruples a lot. The black balloon is the best balloon because it just quadruples your honey. Anyway, back to the mythic buoyant bee. This is going to be a long video, isn't it? Wow. Its gifted ability is called Surprise Party. It summons a gold balloon, and you get 1 extra gold balloon every 5 levels of your bee. So see, my bee is at level 7, so I'll get 1 extra, because it's not level 10 yet. But it summons it for all players on the server. So even if you don't have a buoyant bee, you can still have a hive balloon simply if somebody else in your server has a buoyant bee. Because you'll get balloons, and they'll work like the exact same as every other balloon. When they get full or they run out of time, they'll go back to your hive. And you'll get a balloon blessing. But then, it causes all balloons to spawn random ability tokens for a few seconds. Which is also nice, because say you're like a new player, you can just get given like these ability tokens that multiply the pollen that you get, even if you don't have the bees to make those. So it's really good for starting players, although all of these abilities that affect everyone are going to be good for starting players. Gold balloons gain bonus pollen, and it increases bee level, and transform nearby bubbles into golden bubbles, which collect 50% more pollen and have a chance to spawn honey tokens. If you have triggered a surprise party within the last 8 minutes, it will perform inflate balloons instead, but it will always spawn a gold balloon. So essentially, this special ability it has an 8-minute cooldown. Otherwise, it will just use this ability instead of surprise party. But it'll still always spawn a gold balloon for you, so it's still going to be better than a normal inflate balloons. The passive of this bee is just some ability that you don't have to activate. When converting from balloons, this bee has 3 times the convert amount. So say I was at my hive and I hit convert. When the buoyant bee collects from the balloon, it'll convert 3 times more. Additionally, this bee's base attack scales up to 3 times with the balloon blessing. I haven't even gone over its gifted bonus. The gifted hive bonus is 1.2 times capacity, because that's what the balloons kind of do. Like, everything related to balloons give you more capacity. The balloon blessing gives you more capacity, the buoyant bee gives you more capacity. It's all related about more capacity, which is nice. Anyways, moving along, because I've already spent way too much time on the buoyant bee trying to explain it. We have the fuzzy bee. Now, I actually haven't discovered this bee. It's actually the first bee on this list that I haven't discovered, simply because mythics are impossible to get. But the fuzzy bee, it's a mythic, it's colorless. It has 50 energy, but it only has a speed of 11.9, so it's a bit slow, but again, I really couldn't care less about how slow my bees are, as long as they get there. As long as they're not sleeping. So energy is what I care about, and not sleeping. So infinite energy is good. And it has an attack of 3. It collects 100 pollen in 6 seconds, and it makes 40 honey in 6 seconds. So it's good at collecting pollen, but it's not good at making honey at hive. Its gifted hive bonus is 1.1 times bomb power. So bombs will like explode more, collect more pollen, and all that jazz. So anyway, its ability is called Fuzz Bombs. This is its unique ability. Spawns 2 with an extra 1 every 5 levels. Fuzz balls that wander the field for 8 seconds. Catching them collects pollen and may pollinate nearby flowers. The amount of pollen collected scales with buzz bomb multipliers in B level. So B level, you already know what that is. If your number on your hive is higher, that means you have a higher B level. The bomb multipliers, you'll see a it's not an ability, but this thing, bomb combo, right? It'll increase the bomb power every time you use a bomb, but for a short time. So if you have a lot of bombs, then you'll see it combos up until you have like 4 times the bomb power, or what is that? 3.5 times the bomb power. So you can see that these bombs are doing massive area. Well, not that one. But your bombs are going to be doing big area of effect thing, like bombs. As opposed to, now I don't have a multiplier. You can see like that thing does, what, like 3 out? So that's what the bomb multiplier is. And the fuzz balls, what it means by pollinate is it actually upgrades your flower by a level or 2 levels. I don't know which it is because I don't have the B. But you can see that there are actually levels of flowers. You have the single flowers here, you have double flowers here, and here's a triple flower. Triple flower is the highest naturally spawning flower. But if you pollinate a single flower, it'll turn into like a doubled flower or whatever. If you pollinate a double flower, it'll turn into a triple flower. But if you pollinate a triple flower, it'll actually turn into the mega flower. Or like one big giant flower that actually gives you more. So the fuzzy bee is actually a really good bee for collecting these little fields. Because you can see like all of these things. Look at how fast that goes down. It's already down. You can't collect here anymore because there's no flowers, right? But if you turn that into a bigger flower, you can see that if I collect from here, you can see like that bigger flower is still up even though everything else is all the way depleted. So if you upgrade your flowers, then you can collect more from them. So the fuzzy bee is pretty good with those fuzz bombs. It also has Buzz Bomb Plus, which we already know about, but its gifted ability is actually one of the best abilities in the game. Pollen Haze. Summons a haze over the field for 30 seconds that pollinates up to 30 random flowers every second, and improves flower growth rate. Bomb tokens within haze are automatically collected and may pollinate flowers. If there has been a pollen haze over the field within the last 3 minutes, this summons fuzz bombs instead. So this ability has a 3-minute cooldown, otherwise it'll just do fuzz bombs. But essentially, you'll see like the big box over the field that's like pretty tall, and it just like covers the entire field. What this does is, what this says, it pollinates up to 30 random flowers every second. So every second, 30 flowers on this field are upgraded to a better one for 30 seconds. So 30 times 30 is a lot. That's how many flowers get upgraded. And also, buzz bombs are automatically collected, and they can also pollinate flowers. And it increases the growth rate of the flowers. So you can see how they naturally grow back over time, right? If I deplete these, you can see that they'll naturally grow back over time, right? It's pretty slow, actually. See, it goes up by a little bit. So to improve that growth rate, so you can actually collect more. And then we're going to move on to its passive. This bee is actually not as complicated as the buoyant bee is. Passive, Fuzzy Coat. This bee may pollinate up to 5 nearby flowers, but it can pollinate up to 9 if you have a gifted, every time it gathers. So every time you gather, you can pollinate a lot of flowers, which is literally just upgrading them. pollinated flowers are temporarily upgraded, see, to grant and store more pollen and grow faster. Lower tier flowers have a higher chance of being pollinated. So that's the fuzzy bee. Next we have the precise bee. I don't have this, so I don't have the whatever this text is called. The precise bee. Precise bee is a mythic red bee, and it's basically a sniper. Precise bee can be a bit complicated. So we're gonna try and slow down on this, even though this is already gonna be a spooky long video, as I've already been recording for almost 30 minutes. Okay, it's a mythic red bee, has 40 energy and 11.2 speed, so it's not fast, but it's good. It has an attack of 8, which is the second highest. It ties with one of the other bees, but it doesn't have as much as lion, because lion has the most. It collects 20 pollen in 4 seconds and 130 honey in 4 seconds. So it's slightly better at gathering and stuff. Snowstorm. I'm going to collect some snow. Alright, and we're back. This gifted hive bonus of this bee is +3 super crit chance. So super crit is a separate ability than regular crit. Let me see if I can find this super crit. So super crit is essentially a critical hit. So if something criticals, if you have a super crit chance, then that critical hit has a chance to, like, another small chance. So there's a chance that B can critical. We all know that, right? But if a B criticals, there's another chance that it might super critical, or as this game calls it, where it does double power if it super crits. So what is that, like a big multiplier if you super crit? So its first unique ability is an essay long. Target practice causes the bee to fly into the air and project 3 targets onto the field for a few seconds. Running on a target activates it. So this is pretty hard to imagine, kind of. But the targets are probably about the size of the Science Bear's falling beesmas lights. So let me see if I can spawn them. You'll see like glowing discs. They're about the size of that. So he projects 3 on random spots on the field. If you run over them, you don't even have to stand in them. But if you run over them, they'll activate. And then we're going to read into these bullet points to say what happens if you activate them. When all 3 targets are activated, this collects all ability tokens and grants a stack of precision, which grants +2 super crit chance for 60 seconds, and stacks up to 10 times. Super crits can only occur for critical hits and gain 2 times power and 100% instant conversion. So essentially, if you project 3 targets onto the field, you run into all of them, then Precise Bee will collect all of your ability tokens, and it'll grant you 1 stack of precision, which gives you more super crit chance. After a few seconds, any target activated will generate a focus token. So if you activate all 3 targets, you'll get 3 focus tokens and a stack of precision, and all of your abilities will be collected. Plus, any target activated will be shot, and that will collect pollen too. It'll collect pollen double to this bee's attack with plus 10% per level from 29 flowers. per shot. That's pretty good, actually, because double this bee's attack would be 16. So essentially, you're getting 16 pollen from 29 flowers. I don't know what 16 times 29 is, but it's a pretty big number. Plus, if you have, say, a gifted rage bee, that increases a bee's attack by 1. So now, it's doing, 18 from 29 flowers? You can kind of stack this up quite a bit. With Flame Heat, the shots came up to 4 times the pollen, and up to 50% instant conversion. Now, Flame Heat is what happens when you stand in a flame that gets summoned by, say, a spicy bee, fire bee, demon bee, like this. See? If I stand in that flame, okay, the flame went away. If I stand in the flame, you can see I get Flame Heat. So if I have Flame Heat, depending on how much Flame Heat I have, I can get up to 4 times the pollen. So say I had 9 attack. That would be 18 pollen, but 4 times 18 pollen from 29 flowers. That's kind of insane for one ability. Moving along, any unactivated target will spawn a red boost token instead. So if you activate it, you get a focus token, which increases your critical chance, which in turn also increases your super crit chance. Because the more times you regular crit, the more often you can super crit. But if you don't want it, you can just get red boost tokens. You can get up to 3 of them if you don't activate any of the targets. If you are shot while standing on a target, this collects all ability tokens and consumes your Flame Heat to instantly convert pollen in your bag, with half turning into honey tokens. The amount converted is equal to 50% of your convert total plus 10 times this bee's convert amount, and scales up to 10 times with Flame Heat, and up to 3 times with your current field boost stacks. Okay, so the targets, right? They'll shoot the targets if you activate them. However, if you stay in a target's area and you are shot, it will convert a bunch of your pollen directly into honey. Half of it will be converted directly to honey, and the other half will be converted to honey tokens. I assume will be somewhere in the field. So whatever your convert total is, times 10 of this bee's convert amount, which happens to be 130. Whoops. So you essentially empty out your entire backpack. I actually don't know how powerful that is. But depending on how powerful you are and how powerful this ability really is compared to what it just sounds like it is, that could be really overpowered. And if gifted, when only the furthest target is activated, it will summon a precise mark. So this is actually a new type of mark. You can see this is what a mark is. If I stand in the mark, then I get 1.5 times pollen. There's also the honey mark, which is this one, which converts 2 conversion links. You can see my bees converting my honey for me. This is a new type of mark called the precise mark. If you stand in it, it will grant you plus 7% critical chance and super crit chance, and stacks up to 3 times. So just like all the marks, it'll stack 3 times. But it'll grant you an extra 7% super crit, as well as regular crit. And its passive ability, Sniper. In battle, this bee uses slow, long-range shots that are more accurate and deal 2 times damage. The accuracy is calculated as if the bee was 1 level higher, 2 levels higher if it was gifted, and can never be below 5%. If the shot is a critical hit, the reload time after shots is reduced by half. If it's a super crit, it's reduced by 75%. So essentially what I'm reading here is this bee's attack is actually 16 damage base because it's a sniper, so it does double damage. However, it also reloads slowly. So I assume it actually does do 8 damage, unless it crits or super crits. It actually does 8 damage because it reloads probably the entire time it takes for it to do a second shot of like a normal bee. But if it criticals, then it's actually doing more than 8 damage. If it super crits, then it's doing a lot more than 8 damage. So I guess this is actually the highest damaging bee. So I think that's going to have to be the end of this video. I've been doing this for a long time already. It's been 50 minutes of recording just this video. I'm going to have to cut that down into a more digestible time because nobody's going to want to sit through 50 minutes of just me talking to a camera. So, thank you guys all for watching, and if you did like this video, please give it a like, and if you want to see more content like this, then hit that subscribe button, because I will be making more content, and I'm pushing for 1 video every single day now. It's a tough kind of work to do, but I'm trying to do it. So thank you for watching, and bye!